Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and to a sneak look at late war Leviathan. So I've been sent a copy in advance for late war Leviathan. So this is World War II plus, so basically the things that came out right at the end of the war and maybe things that just missed it. So in this, it goes beyond Flames of War, kind of like a bridge between Flames of War and Team Yankee. Um, but for a lot of like kind of what ifs, fairly interesting stuff. So what I'm covering is the stuff that is new to me, things I haven't seen in Flames of War. We'll have a look at stats, some new rules that have popped up to do with weapons and whatnot. But generally, just to kind of anyone who's interested, you can have a sneak look here, and you can start planning on what you're going to collect. But before we have a look at the Americans, if you are looking to get into Leviathans or perhaps Flames of War, Bolt Action, Team Yankee, or Clash of Steel, I definitely take a look at Firestorm Games. They have great value on all of your favourite stuff. They're fast, reliable, and have excellent customer service. And by using my link, you'll help support me and the channel. Kicking off late war Leviathans, we are looking at the Americans first. So this is the force diagram. So we've got the M26 assault Pershings, the T28 assault tank, T29 and T30, and T34. And you can see a little sneak then of the US support units. Just remember, if I go too fast and you can't see anything, remember you can always pause. And then the rest of the force diagram, we have the M26 Pershing, the M4 Easy 8, and the Leviathan Armoured Rifle Company. So first formation, we have an M26 Assault Pershing Tank Company. So you can see here, obviously it's M26's HQ, M26 Black Box, and then you have an option of a M26 Assault or T28 Assault Tank Platoon. And again for the third option and your mortars. The M26, so stat-wise, like you see with most veteran Americans in late war, careful, confident, trained with a 3+ tactics. No protected ammo though. Front armor 16, pretty big, but you'll see why. Side armor 6, top armor 2. And of course, we got an AT-14 gun in there as well, which in late war is pretty good. Not so good in Leviathans, which we will come on to later. No special rules as such on these guys. Fairly slow, but they do have a good cross check. Second formation, the T28 Assault Tank Company. So again, a HQ of a T28, and then first black box units, another T28, and then you've got the split then for the second compulsory and the third option of either T28s or M26 Assault Pershings. And again, we have our armoured mortars along for the ride. T28, careful, confident, trained. It's a self-propelled gun, so counter-attack and assault ain't great, but it does have a 3+ tactics rating. Big front armor of 17, side armor 8, top 2, and it's a pretty big gun as well. 18-19 with a 2+ firepower. It is forward firing and slow firing, so that 3+ tactics should come in handy there. Next, we have the T29 and T30 Heavy Tank Company. So the HQ is T29, T30 HQ, and then we have 3 boxes, 2 of them compulsory, of having T29, T30 Heavy Tank platoons with some Pershings, an assault gun Pershing platoon, and armoured mortars. Okay, the T29 and the T30, careful, confident. They have gun tank ratings, so counterattack on a 5 and assault 5+. They have a good 3+ tactics rating. Front armor 14, side 7, top 2. Pretty big gun, the 105mm anti-tank 19, 3+ with slow firing. Can upgrade them to 155mm for +2 points. Keeping the anti-tank the same, decreasing the range but giving it an auto firepower, so Jimmy would like that. It is brutal, so if you hit an armoured tank, teams and infantry, they have to reroll their saves, but it is slow firing, so I haven't mentioned slow firing yet. If it's slow firing, it is +1 harder to hit your target. Also, you can see here the M45 Persian assault gun platoon is basically a Persian designated as artillery. Decent 3+ anti-tank, anti-tank of 3 and anti-tank 9 direct fire with 2+ firepower. Is trained though, so trying to get that template in might be a bit tricky over terrain, but they can fire a smoke bombardment. So quite handy to keep these guys up with your tanks as well as your mortars. Next is the T-34 Heavy Tank Company. So not much flavour in this formation. It's basically T-34 for the HQ, T-34s for 1st, 2nd compulsory platoon and your 3rd optional platoon. You do get the M45 Persian as an option again and the armoured mortars. T-34 Heavy Tank, careful, confident, trained, again have the gun tank rating, giving them a poor counter-attack and assault, but still have a 3+ tactics. Front armour 14, side 17, top 2. Their gun is a 120mm, so has a anti-tank of 20 with a 2+ firepower and is slow firing. Again, not the fastest tank, but it does seem pretty heavy. And has a 3+ cross, and of course it has its MGs and 50 cals like the others. M26 Persian Tank Company, HQ of Pershings. 1st compulsory is Pershing, and 2nd compulsory you get a good mix of either M26s, M26 Assault, T26 Super Pershings, T29 and T30 heavy tanks, and then the remaining 2, 3rd one again is M26 Pershings, the assault gun Pershings and armoured mortars. I know we have the Pershings in Flames of War, but I thought I'd just highlight them here, that they're pretty big in terms of American armour towards the end of the war, in Flames of War, but they don't seem so big right now. And the main thing is, if you look here, ignoring the Persians, the T26 Super Persian, you can only have one of these in Flames of War, and here you can have a unit of 5 with a front armour of 13 and their AT 18. Okay, so we still have Shermans, but they are all Easy 8s now. Well, I think most of them are. So we have a Easy 8 Tank Company, and HQ and 3 boxes are all for Easy 8s. Again, you have that M4 Sherman Assault Gun Platoon coming back with the armoured mortars. Okay, so the Easy 8s are probably going to get their work cut out for them. So front armour 7, AT 12 isn't massive anymore in Leviathans, but they do have a jumbo, which is front armour 11, which also isn't massive anymore. So these are going to be kind of like the light tanks now, I guess. But either way, I like the Easy 8s, and there's going to be a lot more Easy 8s and a few more jumbos knocking around the field, and no doubt they have the hypervelocity rounds to take them to at least anti-tank 13, I would hope. Last formation, and we have some infantry in the form of armoured infantry. So very similar to the armoured rifle companies of Flames of War, Americans, a HQ of 2 SMG teams and a half track, and then 3 platoons of armoured infantry, 2 of them being compulsory. We also have our machine guns, an anti-tank jeep now. We can have our assault Persians or our assault Shermans in formation as well, and of course armoured mortars. Okay, so I've put the armoured rifle platoon in because there is one big difference to these guys compared to the late war Americans, and that is the M20 Super Bazooka. It is 8-inch range like your normal bazooka. Halted move in is 1, anti-tank 14 though, with a 4+ firepower and slow firing. But AT 14 and a bazooka, I would love that in Flames of War. That is pretty menacing. But yeah, super bazookas, guys. Okay, last thing we're looking at for the Americans, the Jeep 105mm anti-tank platoon. There's only 2 of them. That's a bit of a shame. it'd be nice if there's like a command card to have a whole formation in these, because that's something I would roll with. So 2 of them will set you back 10 points. Confident, careful, trained, 3+ tactics, 4+ save. So that means no matter how big the gun is, you will have a 4+ save against it. Most likely in this game, you will have to be re-rolling that save with the amount of brutal being thrown around. But they also have a bit of a punch themselves. They have their Jeep 105mm, no movement rate of fire, but that's where you got your tactics rating for. 24-inch range, anti-tank 16, firepower of 2+. It has backblast, which means if you fire it, you can't be concealed. It is brutal, so if they're firing at likewise unarmored or infantry teams, they reroll in the save. And it has heat, so the armor of your opponent does not get +1 for being over 16 inches. It's British time. So again, here's the first half of the force diagram. We have Centurions, we have Charioteers, we have a Saracen Motor Company, and a Tortoise Armored Squadron. And you can see here the support sections. So we'll have a little look at the other half. I'm sorry, there's no other formations, there's just support, and all this support is the same as it is in the other British books, apart from you have a Cromwell OP now. Other than, oh no, no Sherman OP anymore. I guess the Americans have taken them all back, but we have a Cromwell OP. First, for the British, we have a Tortoise Assault Squadron. So a HQ of a Tortoise. First compulsory is a Tortoise. Second is a Tortoise or a Churchill armoured troop. Why? And then you have, again, 3 more options of taking Tortoises, and with 2 of them being able to have Churchills. Chaffies, bless them, are going to be like universal carriers in this game, I guess, and Crusader AA, which is even worse, I guess, but if there's an aircraft knocking around, I guess it can still shoot them down. Okay, so you can see why it's called a Tortoise. It is a tough shell of front armor 21, side 11, top 2, and it's pretty slow. Tactical 8, but has a 2+ cross. Confident, careful, trained, SP gun, so not very good at assault or counterattack ratings, but it has a 3+ remount. Its gun, the 32-pounder, with an anti-tank of 18, packs a bit of a punch with a 3+ firepower and forward firing. Next up, the Centurion Armoured Squadron. So a HQ of Centurions, and then first 2 compulsories and 3rd and 4 are Centurion 1s or Centurion 3s. Also in formation we have Chaffies and Crusader AAs. Okay, the Centurion. Careful, confident, trained, nice and simple with a 3+ remount. Front armor 10, so not massive in Leviathans. Side 5, top 2. Tactical 10 with a 2+ cross, so that's quite nice. Now the Centurion 1 has a 17-pounder, so like Bulge British, it's anti-tank 15 with a 3+ firepower. Or you can have the Centurion 20-pounder with an anti-tank of 17 with a 3+, but they have stabilizer, so that means if you move, you keep your moving rate of fire, your halted rate of fire, sorry, but it is +1 harder to hit. And there we go. So that's it. So basically, Centurion 1 has a 17-pounder, Centurion 3 has the 20-pounder with stabilizer. Charioteer Armoured Squadron. So HQ of Charioteers, and then 4 more lots of Charioteers, with 2 of them being compulsory. Again, we have our Chaffies, and again, we have our Crusader AAs. Okay, so the Charioteer is using that British doctrine of being light but packing a punch. So they are careful, confident, 3+ remount, and trained. Not much in the terms of armor, being front 4, side 3, top 1. They're fast though, tactical 12 with a 3+ cross check. They are anti-tank 17 with a 3+ firepower, but they are overworked. Saracen Motor Company, fairly similar to the old motor companies the British have, but apart therefrom they have different transports now. They still have those nifty universal carriers, but we have a new anti-tank gun along for the ride now. Still have our 6-pounders, but we have new ones now. So 3 platoons of infantry, 3 units of universal carriers, 2 anti-tank sections, machine gun sections, and mortars, as well as the HQ. Okay, so like the British from Flames of War, the motor platoons are small, only 4 Bren teams with a Piat and a 2-inch mortar. The only difference really is the Saracen transport itself. So just one little bit of armour more than an M5 half-track, but it has MGs with it. As for the infantry themselves, they are confident, careful with a 3+ counterattack, so they've lost that war weariness. Something has given them a bit of motivation now. They're trained with a 3+ assault. The British new anti-tank gun, the 120mm BAT anti-tank platoon. So, yes, but 3+ save. It has an anti-tank of 18 with a 2+ firepower. It is accurate, so basically that means your opponent doesn't get +1 for being at range to hit. It has backblast, so when it fires you can't be concealed. Brutal, so if you're an unarmoured or infantry you have to reroll your saves. Forward firing, heat, and slow firing. Only has 1 shot, halted or moving, so if you're pinned, slow firing is going to affect you, but shouldn't affect you too much because you are accurate. So it does pack quite a wallop, this anti-tank gun. Finally and sadly we come to the end of our British journey, but we finish off with the Saladin Armoured Car Troop. So confident, careful, veteran. All British scout cars tend to be veteran. Obviously counterattack and assault isn't very good, and the last stand isn't great either, but it has a 76mm, so anti-tank 11, so if you get on the flank with most things I guess in this game it's going to cause some damage. Has a 2+ firepower, which is very tasty. Heat, overworked, and can fire smoke. These guys are a bit fast, especially on a road, but they do have a 4+ cross check. We're on to the Germans next. So this is the first half of their formation diagram. We have the Maus, the E100, and the Panther 8.8cm tank company, and you can see their support options. The final 3 formations, we have a Jagdpanzer E100, a Scorpion tank hunter, and a Panzersturm company. Okay, first up, the Maus Heavy Tank Company. So you have a HQ of a Maus. First compulsory is a Maus, and then second and third are either Maus, Tiger 2, or Tigers. We've got our Verbal Wind or Ostwinds, and we also have a Panzersturm platoon as well to go in formation. Okay, so the Maus is a big boy. It is front armor 20, side 13, top 2. It is careful, confident, veteran with a 3+ last stand. It's slow, but has a very good cross check. I think it's probably just hitting bedrock as it's moving across everything. It has a 12.8cm gun on it, so it's anti-tank 18 with a 2+ firepower, and it has brutal and slow firing. It also has a 7.5cm gun on it as well, which is anti-tank 7, so pretty big. Yeah, the Maus, everyone. The E100 Heavy Tank Company, so a HQ of E100s. First compulsory is E100s, and then a mix for second, E100, Tiger 2s, Tiger 1s, and that's the same for slot number 3. Again, Verbal Winds, Ostwinds, and a Panzersturm platoon. The E100, careful, confident veteran with a 3+ last stand, front armor 18, side 9. So the E100 12.8, anti-tank 18, 2+ firepower. It is accurate, brutal, slow firing. Or you can have the E100 15cm, which is anti-tank 26, auto firepower, accurate, and brutal. Next, we have the Panther 8.8 centimeter Tank Company, HQ of Panthers. First platoon is Panthers, second is Panthers IR, so infrared, or Panzersturm platoon. Third is Panthers or Panthers IR, and verbal winds and Ostwinds. Okay, so the Panther 8.8 centimeter tank platoon is like your Panthers we've seen before, but it has a bigger gun. The late 8.8 centimeter giving you anti-tank 17, 3+ firepower, and it is accurate. Next up, we have a tank hunter company in the form of a Jagdpanzer E100. So a HQ is E100s, first platoon is E100s, and then second and third you have the option of E100s or Scorpions with verbal winds and Ostwinds also in formation. The E100 is careful, confident veteran with SP gun characteristics, being counterattack on a 5, assault 4 with last stand of a 3. It has front armor of 18, side 9, top 2. It is a decent movement with a very good cross check. It has a decent size gun on it, being anti-tank 25, auto firepower. Again, Jimmy would like this. Accurate, brutal, and forward firing. So not bad. And it also has a 30mm on it, being anti-tank 6 and a 5+ firepower. So again, rocking 2 guns, obviously the second one not being that big. Another tank hunter company in the form of a Scorpion tank hunter company, HQ of Scorpions, and then we have lots of options. We either have for first platoon Scorpions or Jagdpanthers, or second we have Scorpions, Jagdpanthers, or Panzer 470s, and then that's the same for slot number 3, again with our verbal winds and Ostwinds. Like the Chartier, light but packing a punch. So careful, confident veteran with SP gun characteristics, but with a 3+ last stand. Front armor 4, side and rear 2, top 0. Decent speed with a decent enough cross check. Gun on it is anti-tank 18, brutal and slow firing, so quite decent. And this is the last formation we'll be looking at. It's Katchen Panzersturm Company. So fairly similar to the armoured Panzer Grenadier platoons we saw in the various German books. HQ mounted up, and then we have 3 different armoured infantry. So this Katchen Panzersturm or Panzer Grenadiers or Leviathan Panzer Grenadiers. We have our AA options, our mortar sections, our 7.5 centimeter tank hunters, but we also get to have Panthers along for the ride-in formation as well. Okay, so we have the Panzersturm Company. So careful, confident, 3+ last stand. This is like how the Germans were at the beginning of our late war Germans, with being veteran as well. Biggest change they have though, other than their transport, which we'll have a look at, they have the Panzerfaust 250 anti-tank. So it's anti-tank 16 now, with a 3+ firepower, limited 1 and slow firing. Ouch. And then we have the Katchen transport, careful, confident veteran with obviously varying stat changes depending on passengers. Is pretty fast, being a tactical of 12, and it has a 3+ cross check. And these also have the option of missiles being attached to them, giving them anti-tank 16, 4+ firepower. They have backblast, forward firing, guided, and heat. Now, guided means no +1 for long range to hit a target. They can't target infantry unless they are stationary or in bulletproof cover. And finally, the Soviets. So 4 formations we have here: the IS-3 Guards, the IS-7 Guards, the T-10 Guards, and the Heavy SP Artillery Regiment. And the last 3, the T-34, the T-54-1, and the Hero BTR Motor Rifle Battalion. Okay, first up, the IS-3 Guards Heavy Tank Regiment. So it's chock full of IS-3s, being the HQ, 1st, 2nd Platoon. 3rd and 4, you can have IS-3s or IS-2 Lates, and then you have an SMG company or Hero SMG company in formation. The IS-3, aggressive, confident, trained, is a 3+ counterattack, a 3+ last stand, and 3+ tactics. It is front armor 14, side 9, top 2. Decent movement on it, tactical 10 with a decent cross. The gun, anti-tank 14, somewhat underwhelming a little bit in Leviathans. Still has a 2+ firepower, brutal and slow firing. Now we're going up in numbers. We have an IS-7 Guards Heavy Tank Regiment. So IS-7 for the HQ, IS-7s for 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th slots, 2 of them being compulsory, and SMGs or Hero SMGs. So the IS-7, aggressive, confident, trained, counterattack 3, last stand 3, assault 3, front armor 19, side and rear 13, top 2. Again, decent movement with a good cross. Anti-tank 18 on the gun, 2+ firepower. Again, slow firing, but overall decent. Next up, the T10 Guards. So T10s across the board being the HQ, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and SMGs or Hero SMGs again. Okay, the T10, aggressive, confident, trained, counterattack 3, last stand 3, front armor 16, side 12. It's almost like a box, that one. It has a 122mm, giving it anti-tank 15, 2+ firepower, brutal and slow firing. A lot of slow firing with the Soviets so far. T44 Tank Battalion, so a bit of a smaller formation, so HQ being a T44, 1st being T44s, and then you have your 2nd slot being T44s or the classic T34 85 Tank Company, they're back. We also have our anti-aircraft, don't tell the Americans they still have their half-tracks, an anti-tank section, and your infantry, so an SMG company, a Hero SMG company, or a BTR motor rifle company. Okay, so the T44, aggressive, confident, green, with a 3+ last stand. Their front armor 10, side 7, top 2. Decent speed on them, being tactical 12, good I suppose. A cross checker 3, but they do have the old 85mm guns, being anti-tank 12, 3+ firepower. So even some things in this game in the side you're not doing anything against. The T54 1 Tank Battalion, so like the previous Tank Battalion, quite small, HQ, 2 sections, so having second one being T54s or T44s, your AA section, your anti-tank, and your infantry section as well in formation. Okay, so aggressive, confident, 3+ last stand, again green, front armor 12, side and rear 8, top 2. They do have a bigger gun, 100mm, so anti-tank 15, 2+ firepower, and again, slow firing. We have the ISU Heavy SP Artillery Regiment, so quite variable this one, HQ being an ISU Heavy, and then you either have ISU 130s, ISU 122s, or ISU 152s across the board in 4 different combinations of self-propelled Joy with SMG companies or Hero SMG companies to watch. The ISU 130, the improvement on the flavour is aggressive, confident, trained, counterattack, and assault as a 5. They have a 3+ last stand. Front armour 9, side armour 8, top 2. Obviously isn't the best in Leviathan. It can fire a template with an anti-tank of 2, firepower 3+, and direct it is anti-tank 18, 2+ firepower, forward firing, and slow firing. Final formation for the Soviets, we have the Hero BTR Motor Rifle Battalion, so fairly similar to the motor rifle configurations we see in the final Soviet books, apart from we seem to have transport options this time. We also get our lighter tanks in formation, plenty of artillery, recoilless anti-tank companies, obviously they keep liking this, our classic armoured cars, and our AA. Okay, so the Soviet infantry, aggressive, fearless veteran with 2+ assault. The biggest change for them is the BTR 152. They do have RPG anti-tank weapons now that can fire, so anti-tank 11, 4+ firepower, assault 4, and slow firing. But the BTR 152 is basically their transport option. It is green, but it enables you to get your infantry round the table not really that much quicker. It's the same speed as the infantry, but I suppose it just protects them a little bit. And if they're on a road, they're faster. Something else that's new, the 82mm B10 recoilless anti-tank company. So very similar to the ones we saw in the Soviet books. I can't remember what they're called. I never take them because I don't think they're that good. Aggressive, confident, trained. These guys are a bit better though because they have anti-tank 11, 20-inch range, 3+ firepower, backblast, and heat. And the final one, the very odd looking 3 M6 Schmel tank killer company. Aggressive, fearless veteran. I don't know how to describe this. It just looks like a truck with anti-tank guns in the back of it. It's fast though, with a decent cross check. There's a decent gun on it as well. Although the range is very weird. Oh, it's a missile. I can see. So that's I guess a minimum range. So anti-tank 16, 4+ firepower, backblast, guided, heat, and rear firing. I think you need to put the rear firing. It's quite obvious, but that is it for the Soviets and late war Leviathans. Okay, folks, that being it, I hoped you enjoyed my coverage of late war Leviathans. Now, my specialities lay a little bit more in Flames of War, so a lot of that stuff I don't even know what it is, but I know you Team Yankee players out there and your Cold War enthusiasts will know what I'm talking about, and I hope I didn't butcher anything for you. If there's any other questions you'd like to know in the book, any stats, anything I may have missed, or rules I might have missed, any queries, just drop them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you as best I can. I'll keep the PDF on my phone for a couple of months to catch all your questions. And of course, in the meantime, if you are looking to collect Leviathans, Flames of War, or any of that wargaming stuff you're into, definitely check out Firestorm Games. And again, thank you, Battlefront, for sending me a copy. It was nice to see. Definitely looking forward to seeing some of the new Flames of War stuff for next year. So until then, everyone keep safe, and I suppose next weekend we will see how I got on at UK Nationals. If not, it's because I didn't do very well, but we'll see. And we'll also have Jimmy's coverage as well if he's allows me to cover his experience as well.